So hello everyone, it's day 16 and today I have 19th March newspaper and again Indian Express explained page. So there are few articles over this page and two are more important. One is oceans have a fever which is related to global warming and the warming of the ocean surfaces which can lead to greater cyclones in Indian Ocean region. And another is heat aridity and clear sky, why forests are already ablaze in the Nilgiris. So we'll read both of these articles one by one. So let us start with the first article, that is oceans have a fever, which is related to nothing but warming of the ocean surface and global warming. So what it says that average sea temperature in February reached a new high in 2024. Uh, oceans have been usually oceans have been usually warm for a year now, and the consequences of marine ecosystem can be severe and irreversible. Okay, so there is a concept called tipping point where things can become irreversible. So what this article says that first I will read the uh, things that are given in the box. So it is saying that what are the impacts of warmer oceans. So first, increase in ocean stratification which lead to less absorption of carbon dioxide by oceans. Second, marine heat waves become more frequent and more intense. Third, nutrients are not able to travel up to ocean surface from below, threatening a collapse of marine ecosystem. And hurricanes are and cyclones may also become more frequent and more intense. Coral bleaching may takes place. It reduces the reproductivity of corals and makes them more vulnerable to life-threatening disease. So this is very important things that can be used for the means. So average global sea surface temperature, the temperature of the water at the ocean surface for February 2024 stood at 21.06 degrees Celsius, the highest ever in a data set going back to 1979. The Copernicus Climate Change Service said earlier this month. The previous record of 20.98 degrees Celsius was set in August 2023. The average daily SST, which is the sea surface temperature, has been off the chart since March 2023. In the graph alongside, the orange line shows 2023 temperature and gray lines show that the temperature of the previous years. The solid back line shows where we are so far in 2024, and this is clearly above any other year, including 2023. Okay, so why are the oceans getting warmer? So this is very important thing, why they are getting warmer. Since the middle of the 19th century, human activities such as increased burning of fossil fuels has released a high level of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So one of the reason it is giving is industrial revolution. So carbon dioxide, methane, ozone and nitrous oxides are some notable greenhouse gases which trap heat in the atmosphere and contribute to global warming. As a result, the average global temperature has risen at least 1.2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial times. Almost 90% of the extra heat trapped by greenhouse gases has been absorbed by the oceans, which has made them steadily warmer over the decades. So, this is an important thing that most of them are being most of 90% of the extra heat which is trapped by the greenhouse gases are absorbed by oceans. So, this is very important thing that we can see. Other factors too have contributed to the rise in the ocean temperatures. For instance, El Nino, which refers to an abnormal warming of the ocean waters in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. the current high, uh, the current high global daily average sea surface temperature, however, began to rise well before the ongoing El Nino event developed fully and remains unusually high even now, as the weather pattern has peaked and begun to wane. There is also less dust blowing off the Sahara Desert of late due to weaker than average winds. The dust typically forms a giant umbrella and shades the Atlantic water and reduces ocean temperatures, according to a report in the Wired magazine. Okay, so this is something new that I have read today. Okay, so yet another factor is the drop in the amount of sulfur allowed in the marine shipping fuels, and after international regulation were imposed in 2020 to reduce sulfur dioxide emissions. A health damaging air pollutant, sulfur dioxide leads to sulfate aerosols in the atmosphere, which act like a cloud, preventing solar radiation from reaching the ocean surface. Okay, so blessing in disguise. So, what are the consequences of such warming? So, this is important. Higher ocean temperatures can have irreversible consequences for marine ecosystem. Let us see, for instance, warmer oceans leads to increase in ocean stratification, the natural separation of ocean water into horizontal layer by density, with warmer, lighter, and less salty and nutrient poor water layering on top of heavier, colder, saltier, nutrient rich water. Okay, usually ocean ecosystem currents, winds, and the tides mix these layers together, but the rise in temperature has made it harder for water layers to mix. Thus, the surface ocean became less dense than the deep ocean and remains at the surface, where it may get even more warm. Due to this, oceans are able to absorb less carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and the oxygen absorbed is not able to mix properly with the cooler waters below, threatening the survival of marine life. Okay, so nutrients are also not able to travel up to the surface of the oceans from below. This could threaten the population of phytoplankton, phytoplankton, the single-celled plant that thrive on the ocean surface, that are the base of the several marine food webs. Phytoplankton are eaten by zooplankton, which are consumed by other marine animals such as crab, fish, and sea stars. A fall in the phytoplankton population could lead to a collapse of marine ecosystem. So, warmer oceans cause marine heat waves, which occur when the surface temperature of a particular region of the sea rises to 3 to 4 degrees Celsius above the average temperature for the last 5 days, for at least last 5 days. Between 1982 to 2016, such heat waves have doubled in frequency and have become longer and more intense, according to a 2021 study by the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is IPCC. MHWs. What are MHWs? Marine heat waves. Okay. Contribute to coral bleaching. Coral bleaching. Corals are very sensitive to the temperature of the water in which they live. When the water gets too warm, they discharge the algae known as zooxanthellae living in their tissues, causing them to turn entirely white. This coral bleaching reduces reproductivity of corals and makes them more vulnerable to life-threatening diseases. Fish kills. The sudden and unexpected death of many fish or the other aquatic animals over short period and mainly with a particular area can also be attributed to marine heat waves. Such heat waves impact the migration pattern of aquatic animals. For example, in 2012, an marine heat wave over the northwest Atlantic Ocean caused marine species that like warm water to move northward and migrate earlier than usual, affecting fisheries targeting those species in the United States. According to the several studies, higher ocean temperatures may also result in more frequent and more intense storms like hurricanes and cyclones. Warmer temperatures lead to higher rate of evaporation as well as the transfer of heat from the oceans to the air. That is why when storms travel across hot oceans, they gather more water vapor and heat. This results in more powerful winds, heavier rainfall, and more flooding when storms reach the land, meaning heightened devastation for animals. So, what now? These disastrous consequences are set to become worse as the world continues to get warmer. The World Meteorological Organization, in its 2023 State of the Global Climate report, said so. World Meteorological Organization State of the Global Climate report said that there was a 66% chance that at least one of the years between 2023 and 2027 would cross the threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre industrial levels. So, the only way to avoid or blunt the impacts is to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. But the planet is nowhere close to doing that. In 2023, the concentration of greenhouse gases reached the highest level ever recorded in the atmosphere according to the C3S. What was C3S? Um, okay, Copernicus Climate Change Services. Okay, so they have said it, and oceans are getting warmer, and there are several impacts of warm oceans, such as increasing in ocean stratification, marine heat waves, nutrients not able to travel to the top layers. Hurricanes and cyclones will become very common, especially in the Indian Ocean region. We have seen that frequent cyclones that used to arise from the Bay of Bengal region now shifted towards the Arabian Sea region due to this heat wave, marine heat wave, and coral bleaching, and all these effects are. This article is saying that irreversible. Irreversible means there are certain tipping point after which reaching which there is almost, or not almost, but next to impossible to came back of and save those marine species. So there are certain events, there are certain actions that has been taken by certain global communities to reduce this ocean and save the oceans. That is a 30 cross 30 initiative. And one important thing that I have that needs to be noted down from here, that is World Meteorological Organization. It releases the report, state of the global climate report. So this is very important things to know. So there's another article, but I think we have covered this in the, this is also related to environment section, but we have covered this concept in the this article as well. So we'll see the next day's newspaper very soon.